Hello and welcome to a 3v3 cast on Ulfane Temple. Starting off, we have Endor playing as a Farseer down on the contested VP side. We have Triple, Wipple, Nipple, Sipple playing as another Farseer in the center of the map. I'm just going to refer to him as Triple for the remainder of this game. And finally, for the blue team, we have Rostam 313 playing as the Lord Commissar. Moving on to the red side, we also have another Lord Commissar moving in here against Endor. On the bottom side of the map, we have Ximenz playing as a Force Commander with the Dark Angels DLC color scheme. And finally, for the red team and the final player in this game, we have GeoKnight playing as the Brother Captain, playing as the Ordo Malleus faction. Already a bit of action going to happen in the very first engagement here. Blue team up by some VPs. It's very easy for the blue team to actually gain control of the VP before the red team, but the Lord Commissar actually getting special there. Tries to retreat away. He's actually going to go down. Brother Captain slices and dices him and dumps his sword into his body before moving away. That's a very big win there straight away for the red side. And on the bottom side of the map, Lord Commissar here taking a lot of damage here, getting chased hard by the Banshees, but Sentinel Stomp coming in, knocking away the lead Banshee model that was chasing earlier. May not have saved him, but definitely did help him there get away. Banshees without that stomp may have been able to chase him down potentially, and already a flank coming in from Triple here on top of the guardsman, slicing them away there. Sentinel does not have his stomp ability since he's already used it, but the Banshees are getting kited around for the guardsman, and it looks like that Endor did not actually follow up that flank properly, kind of leaving his teammates Banshees to go in there alone. Meanwhile, Dire Avengers are so low, down to just 17 HP to Force Commander, unable to finish off that Guardian squad, or Dire Avenger squad even, in particular the Force Commander, taking a lot of damage though. We'll be able to barely scrape away there at 30 HP. And Sentinel there for Rostam is also going to get the stomp ability. His commander though still remains on the ground, but should be a fairly easy-ish res there for the Farseer, especially if blue team are able to push out a little bit further, which she should be able to. Looks like they're doing fairly well in this engagement, especially with the Sentinel going in aggressive there, forcing off these tactical marines. But the strike squad does remain on the field and is coming in to try and force melee onto the guardsmen. Do need to be very careful though, taking a lot of damage just trying to make the approach by themselves. You know, on the bottom side, it's a bit of a standoff here. Endor not really wanting to push in too much further since he is in control of the VP and cannot wait for Fear to push in himself. You know, these Dire Avengers though behind some green cover, taking a lot of damage here from the Sentinel, just poking away at them constantly. The Sentinel with double repairs, not taking any damage whatsoever, can easily outtrade anything here. The Guardian Weapons team coming in to suppress the Guardsman, getting guided there by the Farseer, giving an extra 30% range and 30% damage. Prevents those Guardsmen from being able to do anything whatsoever. They can still repair whilst under suppression, but they can't move around and not very mobile while under suppression. You know, the Farseer here going to go in very aggressively here. Should be now should be time here for that Farseer to get a res onto the Lord Commissar. You know, in the bottom side, the Guardian Weapons team are very low here. Sentinel backing away, getting stuck on some guards, but the Banshees are able to get in some melee swings. Did have a stomp, but used it much earlier. Sentinel though getting path blocked is heavy infantry, taking bonus damage from the Banshees' power swords there. You know, that Lord Commissar again special does need to be careful. Lord Commissar is very fragile, only 600 HP. Does have that refractor shield, but he's taking a lot of damage. He's staying into the very last second. But the Banshees do back away before trying to finish off that Lord Commissar. I think the Banshees, if they tried to stay, they would have lost some models and would have risked losing the squad, but both players playing a safe game there. Units out and commanders out at the same time. You know, spotters knocking away some IST. Bit of an odd choice to get spotters. Against Imperial Guard, normally you do see a heavy weapons team over a spotter squad. There's also to fend off the Space Marine player as well, but again, the Space Marine player, there is no suppression here for blue team to actually face against other than a heavy weapons team, which is on the bottom side of the map. So spotters is a bit of an odd choice here. Would have probably been more, or should have been a better choice to go for a heavy weapons team instead. Spotters are very good though against suppression teams, very good against even just mass shooting blobs such as mass guardsmen or double shooter boys or anything like that. Can be very nice against these purgations, reducing the range, making them come even closer, but a heavy weapons team could have also done something similar as well by suppressing them, preventing them from doing too much in the spotter shell, also knocking all the units away there so the grenade doesn't actually hit anything there for Triple. Very unfortunate there when trying to work as a team. You know, Sentinel going to go in and stomp here the purgations though, still firing away there that one model using its flamer. But the purgations though is going to get fatal stuff overall. Meanwhile, ASM actually going to come in for some help there in the bottom. Ximenz has actually moved his entire army. That's going to force Endor off completely. Fear is going to be able to push in. Is going to be able to dump down a turret. That turret is going to be very annoying to actually deal with, given it does do quite a bit of damage, and it's got double guardsman repair support, and is also backed up by a heavy weapons team, which is actually coming out of the base right now. It's actually going to get flanked by some Dire Avengers. No grenade available. They don't actually have enough energy for it. Need 60 energy to throw down a plasma grenade. In fact, they may have already used the plasma grenade. They do have enough energy now, but it looks like they've already used it. Otherwise, they might have tried to remain in that fight for a little bit longer to try and throw the grenade onto those guardsmen to try and wipe the squad, since they were fairly grouped up. Meanwhile, ASM and all the units there for Ximenz going to get forced off as he tries to head back towards the center, and he's get cut off by the blue team. 492 VPs, 321. Things are going very well there for the blue team, but things might even turn around at this point. Now there's a 2-to-1 cap in favor of the red team instead. Meanwhile, the Brother Captain is trying to run away. No upgrades on him just yet. Just very tanky behemoth, but without any upgrades isn't going to be able to help his team out too much, with the exception of the We Are the Hammer ability. Brother Captain though becomes very strong when upgraded in tier 2, becomes even tankier. The Unending Purge combined with the Aegis, combined with a strong power melee weapon, can wreak havoc against the infantry and can be very annoying to actually deal with, especially if the Brother Captain does gain some levels. Levels providing extra health and health regeneration. Meanwhile, Fear getting a little bit cut off here. Double Eldar players in the flank here. Double Banshees also bashing away at the journey to farm some Flamer Tactical Marines. Should be able to do some nice damage against those Banshees if they remain grouped up together. Meanwhile, Farseer trying to go in. The second Farseer is going to jump in as well. Banshees also going to jump in on top of the Guardsmen. These Guardsmen though retreating away with plenty of time to spare. Dire Avengers throw down a grenade here. That grenade actually going to go in between the Guardsmen and heavy weapons team, not dealing too much damage there. Meanwhile, Dire Avengers taking a lot of damage here from the ASM. The ASM can jump once again to try and finish off the squad. They do have enough energy to jump in. They can easily finish off that squad with their bolt pistols if they were to just jump that little bit further. Decide to play it safe, decide to jump back towards safety, getting caught out by the heavy weapons team before retreating away without a single model lost. But I feel like they could have gone in a little bit extra aggressive. Wiping a Dire Avenger squad would have been worth losing an ASM model, since that is one less squad to worry about on the field. Now Banshee's going to be jumping onto these Tactical Marines, losing their footing there, getting specialed by the Banshees, but the Banshees will get forced off, going a little bit too close here, forced off by this heavy weapons team that is actually facing a tree instead. Sometimes units do get a bit weird when they try and set up and face the opposite way instead. Meanwhile, some very aggressive play here from Rostam, forcing GeoKnight off the field completely, and now jumping onto the power farms, actually going to get a decap at the same time as bashing and burning down the entire Jarry's farm with the Sentinel and Guardsman. Meanwhile, a flare is dropped down into the bottom. Both Lord Commissars arming themselves there with the Stubbornness accessory, allowing them to regenerate a percentage of their health when surrounded by loyal troops, and increase, or the rate of which that they get their health regeneration increases with the amount of loyal troops that they have in the area. You know, the double Farseers in the area can support each other, can guide themselves, and can support themselves in other ways. One Farseer with the Armor of Fortune can grant herself tankiness, the other with Doombringer can make her targets easier to kill, but one Farseer has gone down. The second Farseer has taken a lot of damage. Spirit Stones have been used and will res Triple here, but I don't think Triple has realised it, and his Farseer is actually going to go down for a second time here. The Farseer is so low, but Lord Commissar and the help of that Multilass will be able to bring him down. Meanwhile, this Farseer though, for Endor with the Spirit Stones, will be able to get some more experience later on, will be able to come at level 3. Meanwhile, Chimera and Sentinel trying to hold the area here. Ximenz is now coming over to help out at GeoKnight, and it's going to become a bit of a problem there for Rostam as he's left alone. Meanwhile, Endor is coming in towards the center of the map, and Triple is also on his way, coming up the staircase, going to meet up with that Chimera. Chimera taking a lot of damage. There's no guardsmen to support it just yet, unless the guardsmen are inside that Chimera. You know, Banshees are trying to jump in here. They'll just get jumped on by those ASM. The Force Command with the Thunder Hammer going to be very effective as a melee counter to those Banshees. The ASM actually using the Merciless Strike there against the Guardsmen, actually missing them a little bit. not dealing too much damage. Meanwhile, the Purgation arming themselves with side cannons, giving them explosive damage type, very effective against all kinds of target. That Force Commander though is wreaking havoc with that one Guardsman squad in particular, and the squad to just the Sergeant. The Sergeant will be able to get away just in time. You know, that Force Commander though is just shredding everything. No teleport pack. Does have the Artificer's armor to grant him the extra tankiness and health regeneration that he needs to remain in the fight for a bit longer. You know, Doomgain used onto this Purifier squad. They are going to arm themselves with the Justicar. Purifier squad is a very odd choice against an Imperial Guard player who is building nothing but ranged units. Purifiers do struggle to get into the face of the Guardsmen, given that they actually have no increase in mobility. They do move around at a decent speed, do have a melee charge, but they have no teleport or jump, which makes it very difficult to actually use against IG in particular. And Farseer on their tail here. They might lose some further models on retreat down to just the Justicar alone. Justicar though fairly tanky and on full health almost will be able to get out so they're alive. VPs though gained fairly equal, 330 VPs to 288. Blue team able to secure red team's bomb generator farm. Red team are making their way to actually go and recapture it. Ximenz is also making his way over to actually take what Triple has taken. Some plasma devastators down towards the bomb side. Red team should have no problem taking this at all. Although as the Eldar forces do move in, it might become a bit more of a problem. There isn't too much here from Triple to actually support defending this generator farm. Let's have the remainder of his forces trying to recapture the natural VP. He makes his way down though, he can definitely help and defend the area. Wraithguard getting hit with a spot-on shot there from that Plasma Devastator squad, and an Auto Cannon that has been executed by the Lord Commissar for double damage. That Auto Cannon is shredding everything. This Falcon is in risk of going down here. The Auto Cannon is really need to focus down that Falcon. Those rear armor hits with an executed Auto Cannon could have easily killed it with a salvo each. You know, Lord Commissar trying to go in, does have that stubbornness bonus, but without any carapace armor, does lack the tankiness and is in risk of going down. The Banshees are surrounding him with the Farseer in the area. Meanwhile, an Autok is dropped on top of the double auto cannons, preventing one from being able to set up. We know the other has. The Lord Commissar really needs to turn on his refractor shield, barely remaining in this engagement here, fighting off these Banshees with the aspect of fleetness. But that Banshee squad is very low. It's actually going to go down to some tactical marines in melee combat. You know, the Autok still trying to force off a heavy weapons team. The two heavy weapons team there for a fear doing some decent work. Meanwhile, the Farseer is actually going to go down there to the Lord Commissar. Some more Banshees jumping into the engagement. You know, that Warlock may be overstating her welcome. She's taking so much damage at this point, but does actually jump out there on top of the Falcon and supports it instead. You know, Banshees on top of these tactical marines taking down two models. The Force Commander does come in for a bit of backup, and Plasma Devastator should be able to get a decent shot in actually doing some friendly fire damage to the generators instead. Although technically not friendly fire, since the generators do belong to the enemy at this point in time. Meanwhile, the Orsak remain on the field at 200 HP, very risky to keep her on the field for such low health. Now down to 15 HP. If that Orsak can get another salvo, she's going to go down. The Orsak cannon will be able to follow in the shots. That's going to be a very expensive sub-commander loss there for Endor. The Orsak cannon's there for a fear, doing a lot of work. Meanwhile, a Manticore is coming out now, help break the line and allow blue team, or allow red team rather, to secure their generator farm down at the natural. Meanwhile, Rostam is going to be left alone there against GeoKnight. Is tier 3, or is going tier 3 in fact. GeoKnight meanwhile still tier 2. Normally Ordo Malleus do try to tech up as quickly as they can in order to get Terminators or Paladins out into the field, since they are extremely effective. Brother Camp's going to try and go and does have the 8 Blessed Aegis and the Unending Purge. So much health regeneration coming out of him, 3.5 from the Blessed Aegis, of extra 5 from the Unending Purge because he's below half HP, giving him a total of 8.5 health regeneration on top of his standard health regeneration, which is just absolutely insane. Meanwhile, the army is getting a little bit caught out there. A Guardian Weapons team here from Triple is going to prevent his army from pushing in much further. Meanwhile, is that Emperor's Wrath that's actually going to come in. Meanwhile, it's just not dodged at all, and that's going to be a Strike Squad loss with a Justicar and an IST squad with a Acolyte. That's just going to go down, and that's a lot of losses there for GeoKnight. He's just lost half of his army to that. Meanwhile, there's a Manticore Strike going to go down. Actually catching out some Wraithguard trying to walk away instead of retreats away. These Wraithguard, though, not the most healthiest at all at the moment, but the Farseer can always heal them up a bit quicker there with the Spirit Stones. But that Emperor's Wrath, though, definitely paying for itself, wiping 2 squads in the first time it got used, since Rostam has only just taked up to tier 3. With GeoKnight losing half of an army, it should be fairly easy for Rostam to hold this area and even actually make pushes here, while the double Eldars could always push together in the bomb side of the map for this contested VP. That Falcon though, going to barely scrape away at 40 HP. These Wraith Guard are going to get jumped on by some ASM, and the Lord Commissar will be able to get away with all models. You know, the Commissar and Farseer coming in for a flank. They're just hiding away behind this bunker. Banshee's going to come in onto the Plasma Devastators, and Guardsman trying to fire away at the Farseer, able to actually get line of sight of her now. And should be a bit careful. This Farseer down to just 91 HP does have the Armor of Fortune, will provide her with extra tankiness, but I'm not sure if that's going to allow her to live. She's taking a lot of range fire damage now, has to walk through 2 autocannons firing at her, will die next to Fear's commander. Meanwhile, there's a lot of army here for blue team. Fear will need to be careful as double autocannons are not positioned in order to deal with the Banshees that are about to come in here for triple level 3. Banshees are going to engage, going to jump on top of the Guardsman. This is a medical bunker, should get taken over here by blue team. Don't want red team to continue using this bunker, but they're actually just going to let them do so. Looks like the bunker might be focused down instead. Meanwhile, grenades going to go down onto these heavy weapons teams, doing a lot of damage, but not actually doing that much damage. These squads will be able to live, will be able to just out reinforce the damage taken from the grenade. Meanwhile, Lords of the End is actually getting used here for a Fear. All these units are going to gain extra health when models die. Meanwhile, the army there for triple is going to get forced off. The double autocannon is going to reset up, and the Falcon there for Endor is going to be forced further back as it does not want to face that much AV. Meanwhile, Purifiers and Strike Squad and Purgation going to come in for a flank. Meanwhile, an Eldritch Storm on top of that bunker is brutal. Wiping the bunker, wiping the Guardsman squad, and doing some significant damage to a second Guardsman squad. Falcon decides to push in a little bit further. Meanwhile, these Dire Avengers look like they have a grenade ready. This Falcon, though, really overextended, is going to go down in this engagement. The grenade does get thrown down, but losing the Falcon like that, sending it in way too aggressively, is going to cost it its life, and that's going to be a massive loss there for Endor. Meanwhile, in the center of the map there, onto the natural VP of blue team, there's actually a Chimera base, which is not going to get used there by triple as he retreats all the way back to base rather than trying to retreat on top of that beacon. The Sentinel is going to try and get away here. Purifies with their power melee, very effective against the Sentinel and doing some significant range damage, able to take it down. But Sentinel expected to get lost this late in the game, very difficult to keep alive later on in the later stages of the game. Becomes a bit of a pain to actually try and repair as a constant basis. Remember, this Guardian Weapons team though going to get jumped on by that Lord Commissar, the Power Sword. Very effective if you actually focus down the lead model, which is the Shuriken Cannon itself, since it is heavy infantry and does spread the damage out to all nearby models. 243 VPs to 147. Red team are starting to catch up there with a 2-to-1 cap. P-Dev is just barely missing that Chimera, could have wiped it had that shot actually connected with the rear arm. And meanwhile, the Brother Capstan coming in, these P-Dev shots are doing some significant damage there, taking out a few Guardsman models. Meanwhile, the bunker has been taken over. A crack grenade looks like it just got thrown onto it, but crack grenade not the most effective against the bunker. However, that Brother Capstan getting hit by a friendly fire. Plasma Devastators there from Ximenz is actually going to go down, but the Force Commander is already on the scene with a resurrection, but the Force Commander is so low right now. Grenades getting thrown on top of the bunker there. The scouts are not in the area and not inside the bunker, so they will be able to survive through it. Meanwhile, that bunker looks like it might even fall down to just 55 HP. Very risky for any units to try and walk inside of it, given that the P-Devs were on the field early, but the Fire Prism is actually going to pop it in the end. You know, our Seer Council jumping in onto the bomb here for Endor. The Seer Council are very effective against Imperial Guard for the reason that they actually have 15% range damage resistance against units and also provided to other allied units in the area. Same goes for the Autolike as well, who has a Scorpion Shield passive, which does the exact same thing as the Seer Council Shield. Combine those two together and you got yourself 30% range damage resistance, which comes in very useful. That can also be boosted further with an Avatar, which actually provides a 30% range damage reduction and also an increase in damage as well. You know, the Banshee's coming in for the flank, going to be jumping on. We're going to be able to finish off one of those autocannon members. The Seer Council trying to do what they can against the Imperial Guard bunker, but the Seer Council, or power melee in general, really does not do well against bunkers or buildings. You know, the Banshees are trying to tear away as many units as they can. There's just too many Guardsmen on the field for them to actually deal with. We'll be able to finish off a Guardsman squad here. The Seer Council are bringing that down so low. Meanwhile, the Fire Prism is actually going to get popped by Manticore. Looks like another squad may have also died in that engagement as well, but the Seer Council still trying to do what they can, and also going to get called down on top of the Imperial Guard bunker here, along with grenades. That is not going to be a heavy weapons team that's going to live. Meanwhile, a second Autok is going to jump in as well, 2 Autoks together, tearing down that bunker. Meanwhile, these guardsmen, they're more time to execute. This is probably a bad time to execute, given that the guardsmen cannot retreat away now. Given that the squad was recently executed, they will be able to walk out the area. Meanwhile, the Autoks going to try and jump into the area, actually both going to leap on top of each other, giving them increased movement speed and increased damage. Meanwhile, the Land Raider Redeemer is making its way now towards the bottom of the map. These Autoks are going to have to pull out, as they realize they cannot face a vehicle. Even with the fusion guns, they won't be able to do much against a vehicle. In fact, the fusion gun is not an upgrade I would recommend. 108 VPs to 147. One Autok desperately trying to go in for the capture. Meanwhile, the other one stands and watches, and the Land Raider Redeemer trying to sit on top of the VP, trying to cap it itself, realizing its vehicle and cannot cap. You know, here Rostam is going to be sitting back. The Fist of bbboscasts has been purchased. The Imperial, the Emperor's Wrath even, still purchased for him, not returning back to the stubbornness bonus just yet. Might try and wipe half of GeoKnight's army once again with another Emperor's Wrath. Should make his way towards the bottom side. The Emperor's Wrath ability is very effective against Land Raider Redeemer, give all the units retreat back to it. You know, the Chimera is actually turning itself into a mobile base once again. Probably a good idea with the Commissar there with the Fist of bbboscasts, can work out very well. Meanwhile, Time Field with the Emperor's Wrath there, going to be a nice little combination to slow down units, allowing the Emperor's Wrath to actually land. Purgation squad will be able to live, but the Strike squad will not be able to. Meanwhile, Purifiers desperately trying to remain in this engagement. P Devastator is going to do a lot of damage to allied units, and Purifiers are going to get forced off, nearly dying. Meanwhile, the Paladins are now out onto the field. In fact, the Purifiers are actually going to go down, getting caught out there by the Banshees, but the Paladins on the field going to be able to do some significant damage there. The Autok are barely able to escape away there. Paladins doing 200 heavy melee damage. In fact, this Autok is not going to be able to live overall. Paladins doing 66.7 heavy melee damage per model, meaning that they can do about 100 damage to vehicles and do a lot more than that to infantry. In fact, they do full damage to all kinds of infantry. Going to be jumping onto this Leman Russ. Leman Russ, though, a fairly tanky tank, does have 35% damage resistance to all kinds of damage. Meanwhile, the Autok and Seer Council on top of that, Brother Captain, this Paladin squad does need to be careful since it cannot retreat away. The Autok Seer Council combo with a Leman Russ with an Executioner firing at them is going to mean a loss there for that Paladin squad. Meanwhile, the Land Raider Redeemer is on the scene. Paladins will be able to go down though, and it looks like a rocket run is going to come in. It's actually going to try and catch out a lot of Red Team's army here. And I don't like this crisscross rocket run style. I prefer them to just be both lined up together. Had they been lined up together, would have been able to do some significant damage there to the army, would have been able to kill a few units. Meanwhile, these Manticores are just very far forward. Blue team running out of VPs. Red team are coming back big time here. 147 VPs for them, 36 for blue team. Meanwhile, some assault terminators are going to try and get onto the scene. Some Dark Reapers are going to try firing away there. Their Inferno damage doing quite a bit there to the Terminators, doing a full 100% damage to Terminators. Meanwhile, Manticore strikes on top of that, also going to force her off. I feel like she could have stayed in the engagement though for a little bit longer. Blue team making their way towards the bomb side since they're unable to capture their natural VP. They're going to try and come in for a flank as well onto red team's natural. Though Manticores pushed in very far forward, should red team's army be forced to retreat, these Manticores would definitely be dead. But the Banshees are going to get hit though by the Manticore strike. Do use their fleets of foot ability. The Manticore strike luckily grouped too close to the center of the VP. Does not count for the first missile knocking the Banshees away. Meanwhile, the Force Commander going in a little bit aggressive there is forced off. And red team are starting to make their way towards the natural 4 VPs there for blue team. Dire Avengers going to find themselves a little bit outmatched against 2 Manticores and 2 Guardsman squads. These Dire Avengers are going to go down in this engagement, going to retreat away. The retreating is going to be a bit of a problem given that there's the entire of red team's army between them and their base. Grenade does get thrown. Look at the damage it does to the Manticore, brings it down to just 50 HP. You know, our blue team are making a push at the natural at the same time, actually using Time Field on top of that Land Raider Redeemer and onto the army, so they cannot do anything about it. GG's does get called in chat, but blue team still have 4 VPs, can still try and make this work out a little bit, but the Land Raider Redeemer there, knocking away some units. Red team are going to get the capture here onto the natural. Blue team needs to shift quickly if they want to remain in this game, able to neutralize the natural, and will be able to remain in game for a little bit longer, providing red team aren't able to get a capture. Meanwhile, that Chimera is not moving, going to get caught out there by the Manticore. The brother Capson with that Nemesis Force Halberd going to do some significant damage there to those Cadian Kasrkins since they are heavy infantry. Meanwhile, the Farseer is actually going to go in for the capture. The Land Raider Redeemer is firing away. Red team have got this VP surrounded, and blue team are going to be unable to get the cap down to that natural. The Farseer is running away off to the side here. I'm not sure where she was running to, if there's a beacon or anything like that. Banshee is going to move in, and red team's army is just massive in comparison to blue team's right now. And with the capture of the natural VP, with the Banshees being a bit too slow there to try and get in, it looks like this could be game. Force Commander going to jump in there. Battle is activated. Plasma Devastators heard them wind up their fire, but they don't actually fire. And VPs are taking down Heavy Weapons team there for a Fear, going to be defending natural. A third Manticore also coming out base as well. Fear, a massive fan of Manticores apparently. And red team are going to be able to win this game. Blue team, they were on the VP advantage much earlier in the game and did have the army advantage, but red team going to manage to pull themselves back in and be able to win this game. Next week I will be casting the remainder of the 2v2 games I missed out from the tournament. There's also going to be some more faction wars coming up soon as well on the channel. The games are going to get played on the 13th and 14th of August, so I should have some games on my channel after that, so be sure to check that out. We'll be uploading the games on Monday like I done before. And also this weekend, I'm not going to be streaming, got some family coming around, so I'm not going to be streaming this weekend, but we'll be streaming on the following weekend as per normal. Bye for now.